Hello guys, how are you? I am glad to be back. This is the first video after my birthday break, and what better way to start off the year than to make a video about my favorite band ever, Queen. So yesterday, October 13, 2022, Queen released their first song in 8 years. Yes, 8 years. A lot of people say, it's the first song they released in 20 some years, and that's wrong. They actually did release a song in 2014 as part of the Queen Forever release, which was a compilation of rare songs and demos. So yeah, that song was actually the first track on that album, and it's called Let Me In Your Heart Again. So yeah, this is not the first song to be released after Freddie's death. In fact, they actually released a whole album after Freddie's death, and that album is called Made in Heaven, and it came out in 1995. So yeah, this is not the first song to be released after his death, but yeah, it's always very exciting to hear some new Queen. Now let me be completely honest here. Even though this song was never heard before and it was previously unreleased, I actually did hear the song before. I mean, a lot of us Queen fans have actually heard, not the whole song, but a little clip of it. So every year they have this international Queen convention in the UK where they actually have a lot of people come in from all over the world, and they have like special guests, and they have memorabilia and trivia and collector's editions and stuff like that, and trading and special merchandising, and it's a really cool thing. I mean, it's a worldwide gathering of fans. And every now and then they'll show you some gems, like some hidden gems, like they will actually play some tapes, and they would actually play some stuff that was recorded that was never released, and they actually did play this song before on one of those conventions. Now, back in the day when this track was actually released, it was really hard for you to get a copy of it. I mean, people would actually bring, their tape recorders and actually record whatever was coming out of the speakers, and then they would try to get it online so you could hear it. Or they would actually make copies of that cassette tape and then just send it over to people that would pay for shipping and stuff like that. So I've actually heard this song before, and it was driving me insane because I went into my archives and I could not find it anywhere. I didn't know the name of the song. I didn't know what it was released as before, and I gotta tell you, Queen did a great job at hiding the stuff. I mean, I guess they policed the whole internet and they took him all down because I couldn't find it online at all. But luckily, I reached out one of my buddies who's also a Queen freak, so I asked him, dude, have you heard this new Queen song? Am I crazy, or did I hear this before? Wasn't it played at some convention? And he was like, you're not crazy. I mean, not because of this, but you did hear it before. So let me dig into my archives and see if I can fish it out and send it to you. And he did. And boy, did that ease my mind, because I was going insane. I was like, dude, I've heard this melody before. I mean, it's a very distinctive, very eerie, very melancholic melody that, is just very memorable. It's instantly recognizable. So I was like, dude, I've heard this before. And I kept trying to sing it over in my head, try to remember the melody. Because the thing is that they actually changed some of the lyrics too. So from what I remembered, it was actually a little bit different. It was a little bit off. But, you could definitely tell that it was, based out of that or based off of that. So yeah, finally my buddy sends it to me, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. Killer. Anyway, that little short clip was actually released. It was part of the Queen The Vaults album, which was released in Europe in 2019. And they actually released 2 little demo clips of this song. I load them into my Patreon, so if you're actually a patron of the channel, you can actually go and listen to them there. Okay, so that being said, I actually preferred the demo version over the version they actually released, which kind of sucks. I mean, it was kind of a letdown to me, to be honest. I really enjoyed the demo version. I mean, the vocal melody plus the guitar work was really, really cool. I mean, if you listen to the original demo version, you had, Freddie doing the vocal thing, but then you also had Brian May just playing along with the vocals, which was kind of cool. I mean, it's something that they haven't done. So that was really cool. Anyway, so apparently they actually released this song as a teaser for the 4 songs that they're actually going to include in the Super Deluxe Collector's Edition of The Miracle from 1989. And this song was one of the songs that they were actually working on the 1988 studio sessions for the Miracle album, but didn't really make the cut. So yeah, I mean, that's really cool. It's supposed to be 4 songs that we've never heard before, but I gotta tell you, I've already heard all 4 of them. I mean, some way or another. Of course, I haven't heard the actual official versions of them, but a lot of these clips have actually been around for a while, and a lot of these songs were actually very close to be finished. Like Dog with a Bone, for instance, is a song that's going to be released, that if you look for it online, you'll find it and you'll get the gist of it very easily. I mean, the sound quality is not that great, but you can definitely tell what the song is going to sound like. Most of the vocal lines are there, most of the arrangements are there. I mean, I don't think that song is going to vary a lot from the demo version. Then we're also going to get A New Life Is Born, which is the intro to Breakthrough, which used to be known as When Love Breaks Up. And it's basically the intro to Breakthrough, but it's a little bit more, it's extended. It's very instrumental. It's just a piano and Freddie. And there's various bits of the song online, but I haven't heard the whole song per se. So that one's got me a little bit excited because I've always felt like that intro was really cool. Then other than that, we also have I Guess We're Falling Out, which you can actually find online too as well. And of course, the song they just released, Face It Alone. Now enough ranting, let me talk about the song itself for a little bit at least. So it's a very simple chord progression. It's in the key of E minor, so you have E minor and then A minor and then you have G major and D, the usual suspects. And I don't really know if everything was recorded back then and now just, mixed and mastered and released, or if they actually added some new stuff to the recordings. Because I gotta tell you, to me, it kind of feels like what it actually is. It's an unfinished song. Personally, it kind of feels a little bit rushed. It kind of feels to me like they just said, let's just release it as it is and let's just call it a day. And, it is what it is. I mean, compared to the demo version, I think it had so much more potential than what it actually ended up being. Now, that being said, I do like the song. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the song. I don't think it's a lousy song. I don't think it's a bad song at all. I think it's a great song. I just think it had a little bit more potential than what it actually came out to be. Now, of course, the recording and the mastering of it is just pristine. It sounds great. I mean, Freddie's vocals are amazing. I can't understand when anybody names anybody else other than Freddie Mercury as the best singer ever. I mean, there's no beating Freddie Mercury. Give me a break. I mean, his tone, his pitch, his voice color, it's just godly. I feel the lyrics are very simple and they could have been polished a little bit more. And at the very end of the song, they actually cut and paste the same vocal line where he says, when the moon has lost its glow. And originally they were actually going somewhere with that lyric. It said something like, and the sun something something. So they were comparing when the moon has lost the glow and the sun was whatever. And that's not even included here. I mean, you can kind of make it out on the original demo recording, which will be linked on my Patreon, but they completely got rid of that line altogether for this song, which, they might have never finished that line. So, they had nothing to actually copy and paste onto this project. But that's one of the things that happens, when you actually release something that hasn't been finished. I guess on an instance like this, it would have been cool if they added like Brian May or even Roger Taylor singing the last verse like they did on Mother Love, for instance. That would have been cool. Anyway, guys, I really wanted to share my thoughts with you all because, I mean, I love the band and, I needed to talk about Queen. I had a lot of things to say. In fact, I'm going to trim this short because otherwise it's going to be like an hour-long video and nobody wants to see that. But I do love me some Queen. So if you're a Queen fan and you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel like a man. And also, if you want to help support the channel big time, there's a link to my Patreon in the description box below. A little goes a long way and we surely do appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out my Queen Chronicles playlist, which will also be linked in the description below. I will see you guys next time. Pat out, metal on, dudes. God save the Queen.